There are certain events when witnessed have the power to completely alter all the perceptions one may have held about life. For Michi Hadaka, that event was witnessing an angel emerging out of a portal she made to heaven, a place she didn't even believe existed. She then watched that angel turn the atheist cult leader that held her captive to open the portal into a pile of dust. Then, before returning to heaven, the angel tells her directly, it is nothing unless you know him and the one he has sent. An encounter that shook her so deep to her core that she can't stop thinking about it, even waking up out of her sleep terrified from replaying the event in her dreams. At a lumberyard in Oahu, Hawaii, that is hard for me to say with my accent, the newest owner of the lumberyard confronts a Yakuza gang member with the goal of setting down a new order, informing him that since he's in charge now, they will no longer be able to hide their shipments at the lumberyard. A new order that the Yakuza member does not take a liking to and reminds the owner of the agreement the gang had with his recently deceased father and everyone that owned the lumberyard prior to him. But the new owner is not willing to budge, so the Yakuza member resorts to plan B, kill the new owner of the lumberyard. But the lumberyard owner quickly attempts to disarm him, leading to the two having a bit of a brawl, with the Yakuza member warning that fighting around the shipment can blow the whole place up, to which he was right, as the lumberyard owner rams him with a forklift into the shipment containers, breaking it, causing the blue liquid to spill all over the place, soaking down the Yakuza member and turning his eyes blue. When he fires the gun, which also got soaked by the blue liquid at the lumberyard owner, the entire facility explodes. Cutting back to Michi's apartment, as she is having breakfast, Julie comes over to return the things that the guy gave her that Michi left behind on the day of the bank heist. Pondering on where she even could have left these things for someone to have to go out of their way to return it, when she remembers, a whole heap of questions flood her mind, wondering if he saw her transform into the Black Blossom, or if anyone else saw that day as well. If you want more context to that, then be sure to check out our Black Blossom issue 1 and issue 3 reviews, because just as I predicted, the dude is in fact interested in her and asks Michi out on a date via the letter that he asked Julia to give to her with the rest of the stuff. But with all that Michi is going through, she isn't in the headspace to go on a date and tells Seth that now isn't a good time. She then calls her dad and assures him that she did not forget about the research paper she has to submit for his class, but she did want to ask him a weird question. If he ever doubts what he believes, particularly about the nature of the universe, and her dad responds, well, I don't know about doubt, but I would say I try to keep myself open to being proven wrong. She asks him what does he mean by this, to which he explains, I'm a scientist, sweetheart. We can prove things through observation and the scientific method. If a discovery proves a former theory wrong, I'm more than happy to accept it. Michi then asks, what about things you can't prove or can't observe? Well, as a paleontologist, my entire job is making conclusions based on the evidence I'm presented with. We only have bits and pieces to go off of. We don't see the whole picture, but there's enough evidence there to make an educated conclusion. So, doubt? No, not at the present. But we never know when another part of the picture will come into view and change our perspective. After the conversation with her dad, Michi then goes to church for the first time in her life to have a one-on-one session with the pastor. At first, she thought the session was supposed to go according to what she saw on TV, where they got inside of a small box and had a divider between them, and she tells him all her secrets and stuff.
I'm not seeking penance for what I've done, Father. I'm asking forgiveness for what I'm about to do.
That's not how this works.
But the pastor informs her that they aren't that kind of church and promises that whatever she shares will be kept in strict confidence, unless it is something illegal, like stealing a bunch of gold from the Federal Reserve or something, a statement they both share laughter, but the pastor makes sure that such a statement was only a joke. Imagine if it wasn't. Michi then explains to him that she kinda had a, let's call it a religious experience recently, and it really shook her up, one that made her question what she believed, telling the pastor, no offense or whatever, but that there was no God, that I was in control of my destiny. But after witnessing all that happened at Alice's facility, especially witnessing the man being zapped to dust by an angel, she really feels different about the whole God thing, though it's a lot for her to process, which she would rather not get too deep into. The pastor tells her that's fine and asks if she now believes in God, and she's not too sure, but she definitely believes in a higher power, a statement that the pastor asks, why come to him? Why a church, not a synagogue or a mosque, or why not go to some spiritual sites in Asia or something? And Michi's answer is she doesn't entirely know why, probably because the church was the closest. She has also heard a lot of Bible talk in the last 24 hours, and doesn't know much about the whole spiritual world stuff that she was recently hearing about. If her dad knew she was at the church, he will stage a whole intervention or something. He's a pretty staunch atheist. Her mom was religious near the end of her life, but her dad always told her that science is the way, you can test it, see it, verify it. She's always agreed with that. It's just that she still believes in that line of thinking. The thing is, when it comes to the supernatural, she has seen it. She doesn't know exactly what she saw, but it was something that brought her here because of what she has seen. But she does wonder how the pastor even does it. How does he believe in something he's never seen and doesn't have proof of? The pastor's response is he can honestly ask her father the same question. Has he seen the Big Bang, observed evolution as it happened? Michi responds, well no, but there's evidence. And the pastor continues, evidence, exactly. You look at rock layers and bones and whatnot and say, this is evidence. You draw conclusions and put your faith in them. I know faith isn't a popular word in scientific circles, but faith is more or less the foundation stone upon which most scientific theories are based. Believing in something you've never witnessed yourself, having no way to actually prove it, and trusting that it's true because there seems to be evidence to support it. Doesn't sound so different from my kind of faith when you put it that way, does it? Faith is an essential part of how the world functions, always has been and always will be. The rub is who or what we put our faith in, because if it's misplaced, the consequences could be disastrous. The pastor does offer to tell her a little bit more about what he puts his faith in if she would like to know. But Michi gets an alert from the Oahu local news app about the fire that broke out from the Yakuza and wood mill owner brawl. So she cuts the meeting short, but does assure the pastor that she'll keep all that they talked about in mind. Heading out of the church, she takes to the sky as a black blossom and flies off to the wood mill. After arriving at the wood mill and assessing the situation with the firemen, she notices that someone is still alive under the flaming rubble. Taking a moment to think about the best course of action and thinking back to what she learned in science class, a controlled blast with enough concussive force should blow out the fire, and it worked. But out of the rubble, the Yakuza now looks like Groot wielding a Glock, and he opens fire on Michi and the fireman, who forms a shield to protect them. Michi then orders the fireman to get to safety as she then attacks the Yakuza, who in the midst of the battle discovers all the things he is able to do and decides to go by the name Koa. Forming extra wood barriers to block Michi's attacks, shooting a volley of splinters from his hand that Michi had to think quickly to block with a bunch of tiny shields, but one of the splinters got past the shields and slashes her across the chin. Now she's angry and doesn't hold back any punches, pummeling Koa to the ground, to which she thought it was all over, but Koa had one more trick up his trunk. I guess. Yeah? No? Okay. He tries to crush Michi under a tight layer of jagged wooden structures, but with her quick thinking, she transforms the suit into this and obliterates all the wooden constructs. However, as she surveys the area afterwards, Koa seemingly was either obliterated in the blast or had escaped. We don't know. Later that day, Michi decided to visit her mother's grave with all that has been going on recently. With tears in her eyes, she says, I know you believed in the end. Dad and I thought you'd gone all Jesus-y on us because of the sickness, but I know deep down you really believed. So I guess I'm asking, were you right? Are you still out there somewhere? I saw a thing and I'm having a really hard time dismissing it, and I I know Dad would be worried if he knew I was thinking about this stuff, but if it's true, if he's real, could I end up seeing you again? On Sunday, Michi decides to attend her first church service for probably the first time ever in her life at the Forest Hill Bible Church East Campus, the same church she visited to have the one-on-one with the pastor, entering and asking God if this is where I need to be, just let me know. We end off this issue with a quote from the pastor's sermon. In its prayer, Jesus said, "Now this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent." Eternity is the most important thing we can worry about. No matter how much good we do, God tells us through the Bible that life means nothing unless we know Him and the one He has sent. A statement that rings clear to Michi, as it's the exact statement the angel said to her at Alistair's facility. So, let's put Black Blossom issue 6 on our Christian fiction judgment scale. I'll give the story a 4 out of 5. Maybe I just have quippy dialogue fatigue for watching and reading so much superhero stuff that seeing sayonara with a gun pointed at someone only to have them fight back is an eye roller for me personally. As well as the lines like "you little censored out," "it's over when I say it's over," etc. I hope I don't come across as disingenuous, but the dialogue just doesn't hit at certain points for me like some of Evan's other work. The concept of the story itself and everything else is amazing. I'm an inspiring philosophy, David Wood, Mike Winger, Red Pen Logic, Ray Comfort, What Do You Meme enjoyer. And I've started to watch a lot more atheist content and debates from atheist creators, especially surrounding the arguments that some of you come into my comment section with. This comic packaged a lot of the stuff I've heard in debate style content in an entertaining and organic way. To the point, the only way I personally find you can call this disingenuous representation of the Christian to atheist debate is if you don't know anything about a lot of the current Christian to atheist debates out there. Yes, Christian media has often created straw mans of a lot of atheist positions, to the point it's become extremely cringy, but the Black Blossom to me ain't one of them. It simply is the best religious pamphlet in disguise on the market. When it comes to artwork and creativity, it's a 4 out of 5. I really like the art style and the character designs of Black Blossom and Koa in this issue, but some of the facial expressions are just way too uncanny for me personally. Theological basis is a 5 out of 5. Michi's whole spiritual journey thus far, which started in issue 4, has been enjoyable to read through. Then to add John 17 verse 3 into the mix, leading to her getting the confirmation she was seeking stemming from what the angel told her through the pastor's sermon, was top tier in the theological department. So for the final category of my enjoyment and recommendation is a 4.5 out of 5. The dialogue once again just didn't resonate with me all that much. But I did enjoy this issue a lot. It's for sure in my top comics I have covered thus far on this channel. But at this rate, I think I've been saying that for like the past, 20 comics. My top 10 list I think has 20 comics in it at this point. So a tier list and ultimate recommendation of Christian fiction that I've covered that is currently on the market is coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Overall, Black Blossom issue 6 gets a 4.4 out of 5 from the Xplanations. Link to purchase the comic will be in the description below and in the card at the top right hand corner of your screen. If you enjoyed the video, then why not consider leaving a like on it and subscribing for more reviews and coverage of comics made by professing believers. If you enjoyed the video to the point you want to check out another one on the channel, then be sure to click the card at the top right hand corner of your screen to check out our other The Black Blossom reviews, or click this video that YouTube thinks you would like next.